time, your gateway to the world. A-F-R! American Freedom Radio. Give it to them.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is November 21, 2013. Hope you all had a beautiful day. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at SoulJourneysRadio.com. Just click on Listen and Chat up in the top middle. And if you have any questions tonight, please keep it topic related. The phone number is 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. And for that topic, we're going to talk about sexual awakening. And is sexual awakening or awareness essential for spiritual growth? How has sexual trauma suppressed humans on Earth? How we can heal sexual trauma, suppression, shame, judgment, fears, guilt, and abuse. And what would a sexually healthy, empowered human look like? We're going to bring up some topics that were addressed in the movie Bliss by Lance Young. You can look that up, Bliss 1997, to find out more about it. Hopefully you have seen it, though, because this movie was definitely ahead of its time, I think. I'm just barely starting to understand it and address these issues myself. And I know many of our listeners are going through the same thing. So, woohoo! It is time to bring this topic out into the light with Tobias Lars, of course, our favorite Thursday guest. Oh, wait, he's our only one.
A ringing endorsement.
Yeah.
Ring, 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 ring.
You have to put that on your website. Christie says I am her favorite Thursday guest.
I feel so good.
Yay! Well, he is a personal awakening coach and the author of one of my favorite books, Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, which you can find at his website, soulcounseling.com. And also check his other website, spiritualtravelers.com. I know he's got some good stuff coming up here soon, like swimming with the dolphins in Maui and the manatees in Florida. Of course, you can go play with the wolves, but that's not till May and September, but check it out. That's at spiritualtravelers.com, and it is so good to have you here tonight, Tobias. We got a nice light and fluffy topic. How you doing?
I'm actually looking forward to the topic.
Yay!
Yeah, I was just feeling, I just drove back up to Sedona. It's rainy and cold, and I just turned the heater on. And it's like winter. I'm going up to Hopi Land tomorrow with a brave, adventuring soul. I have been blessed with good access to Hopi Land. Really, we can go visit beautiful sites that are... You need a Hopi guide to take with you, and I think I have the best one. He walks between the worlds. And Grandma Piki owns the remaining... She's the last matriarch on top of Walpi on that little village, Walpi, and when she's around, we can go up there. After she passes, it's probably going to be all a museum, and you can only see it via tours. So anyway, we're doing that tomorrow, and
excellent.
I feel very lucky, and it's very beautiful. But so if anyone's interested in the Hopi tour before, the blue Kachina comes and it's all over, let me know. Yeah,
so Kachina comes. All right.
Well, that's probably more true, actually. But yeah, the blue Kachina, just Google that, blue Kachina Hopi, if you want to research that. Some people think it's various comets. It represents a comet that is going to herald a big, big change on Earth. And, whether it's this one right now or we don't know. We don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to be in Maui, by the way. I've changed the date a little bit on that. The dolphin swim is part of it, is optional, but we're going to be doing a retreat ceremony, and contact me privately for that. It's kind of like a private little ceremony. We're actually, the date is going to be the 11th and 12th, the weekend of the 11th and 12th. If people want to go to Maui and start the new year, and we're going to do some healing work, Course of Awakening healing work, but it's online as well. All right, I'm ready. Sexual awakening, nah, it's impossible. Forget it. Let's just go back to sleep. It's not possible. Never mind. Celibacy or full-on, out of control. Those are your only two options.
All right. Well, show's over, boys and girls. Thanks for being here, and have a killer weekend. Go get drunk and get screwed, right?
Go enjoy the upcoming holidays. And I was driving up, I was feeling the holidays coming up, and I go, and there's all this, the holidays, it's beautiful time with family. And let's be honest, the reality of it now, it is the most dysfunctional time of year. It's the most beautiful time of the it's the most dysfunctional time of the year, because everyone's going to bring their stuff. My friend, mentor, teacher, he has a guide for how to survive the holidays. He helps people like, here, how do you do this? Take long breaks. Offer to go to the store to get the hell away from the clusterfuck, excuse me. Offer to run errands. Make sure, stay on light topics, try to find common ground, It's sad. It's very sad. But once you've gone through it, it can actually be fun, And God bless us all, because we were sold the Wally Beaver, Leave It to Beaver, Mrs. Beaver's Cleaver. Did I say that? I said Mrs. Beaver's Cleaver. Okay, that's better.
Mrs. Beaver's Beaver.
No, I didn't say that.
I did.
Said that. All right, I said Mrs. Beaver's Cleaver, because she
Christie
cooks in the
beaver
kitchen.
Too. Yeah.
She cooks in the kitchen.
I cook and I have a beaver.
Oh, yeah.
And I sometimes eat beaver. Oh, wait, woodchuck. I don't know. Same family, same thing.
Yeah. All that, this is the time of purging, of upheaval, upheavening. So all around me and my family, this is not the time to try to have it all look good. This is really the tribulation, the purging of the old system, is really being completely rewritten. Therefore, divorce rates and relationship and all that stuff, because we're basically crazy people at this point. We're purging the last 6,000 years worth of incarnations, right? Actually more than that. We're purging from the time we first started civilizations back in the land of Mu, M-U, Lemuria, and we're really trying to purge all those lifetimes. We're cramming. This is like cramming for all of your college in like 2 nights, So if there's upheaval in your life, and craziness and insanity and so forth. I was just listening, I heard a radio commercial that said, by now, that prescription drugs cause more death. Now it's coming out more than the combined heroin, meth.
Oh, yeah. That's only like 8,000 a year, but prescription drugs is $250,000.
We don't even know, like 300,000.
Yeah. Oh, no, I do. I've looked at it. Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, that's what they admit to. But, yeah, only like 8,000 a year for heroin, crack, and all that stuff. And I'm not saying go take heroin and crack at all. I'm just saying, like, what's more dangerous?
But that's an indicative thermometer of a culture.
Yes.
It really is. So during this time, we're going to be trying to re-heal a lot of things. And trying to hold it all together is just not going to work. The center will not hold, Who was it? Yeats, the falconer's gyre. When you train falcons, you at first tie a string around their legs so they can't fly except in circles around you. Okay? And then after a while, you make it longer and longer, and then finally you just have that little piece of leather hanging off their foot, and they think they have to come back. You've basically programmed them. Cruel as that is, you would do it with every other animal as well. But the falconer's gyre, and there, William Butler Yeats predicts the center will not hold in widening spires. The falconer's gyre, and finally the falcon is free. He is predicting and prophesying this time of when the center, i.e. the central control systems, whether they be our immoral programming, I would say, the opposite. Whenever it's called moral, just add the opposite to it. You'll be much closer to the truth.
Yeah.
The moral, immoral programming will not hold. The governments will not hold. The central control on the planet cannot hold, because the uprising, you can't stop the grass from growing in spring. It's impossible. So it really is not springtime for Hitler, thank you, Mel Brooks, but it is springtime for humanity, right? But first, it's going to be pain and gnashing of teeth and wailing and, I love you, but I can't live with you, and I hate you, and my God, I've been married to you, you're a demon, All this kind of stuff is going to be coming up for people. This is the separation of those that are going to choose to stay with control and selfishness and oppressing other souls, and those, the ancient children of Belial, of Baal, the dark children versus the children of light. You could say that. You could say the children of the service to others, service to self. These are all approximations, But this is the separation time. So during this time, we're going to be re-sexually awakening. Sex has been shut down. We've been in martial law. When you're in martial law, meaning, imagine London 40, when they're getting bombed. You don't have time to go, meeting tonight, we need to all discuss and make sure every voice is heard, whether we should dig an air shelter or not. No, you don't have time for that. It's like, get the F digging, we need to do it now. So then you have martial law. But martial law is not natural. You understand? So when we need to come out of living in martial law. Right now, we're still living in martial law. We think it's normal to have cops with guns. That's insane. It's no different. It's like the army patrolling the streets, And martial law is not what we're meant to be doing on Earth. So, and that's how we've done marriages. If you don't do what I made you swear an oath, it's like being sworn into the army, getting married. You're swearing oaths to get married. What? And if you break those oaths, then I'm going to break you with my lawyer. I mean, it's insane, the way we've done this. Can you hear me still?
I sure can.
All right, good. So sexual awakening is also going to happen, because it's basically now 6 out of 10 marriages break up. 8 out of 10 people, quote, cheat in their marriages. Let's be honest. This irrepressible life force, we need a new model. We need a new model, because the old model of having the Gestapo, the sex police, tell us what to do and when to do and if to do and not to do. is yeah, it is horrible. It creates untold pain and suffering and guilt and shame, and everybody's cheating. Well, that's a great way to get the denial monsters, can you say, Lucifer, if you believe in that, and the minions, to torture you. Did you do it or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? There's no explanation here. Yes or no? Did you or did you not have sexual relations with that woman? Depends on what the word is means.
Yeah.
It's insane is what it is. So all the houses of cards are going to come tumbling down around us. Humpty Dumpty is falling right now, and no one's going to be able to put him back together. In fact, that mayor up in Toronto kind of looks like Humpty Dumpty, doesn't he?
Pretty much most of the cops here in the Ozarks look like Humpty Dumpty.
And God bless him. I actually like the guy in Toronto. At least he's being honest. He's being honest. He's like, I'm Chris Farley. I'm going to tell you what I do, all right? And nobody can handle it. They're all like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And then he actually has his brother say to everyone in the chambers and whatever, parliament or thing they're doing for the city council, says, have you guys done this too? I thought so. So the truth is going to come out everywhere. There's nowhere that denial and hiding is going to be able to do it. Why? Because when you actually raise the water level, it touches everything. Well, the water level is the spirit level that's being raised on the whole planet. There is no way to hide, no place to hide from yourself anymore. Now, those that are wanting to heal themselves, they're going to go, hallelujah, finally, I've been waiting for this for eons. And those that have been feeding on the system and feeding on denial and feeding on, hiding things in the dark, practicing truly occult, simply means in the hidden, in the dark, practices, they are going to be exposed more and more and more. We don't have to do anything about it, except when you feel, just tell the truth. The truth is so powerful. One little word, telling the truth, that's the story of the emperor has no clothes. The little tiny boy of innocence goes, look, Daddy, the emperor is naked and fat and ugly. And when we start doing that in our lives, you know that, we all know that. When you've actually finally said a truth, bam, it's like setting off a bomb in the middle of your life, right?
Yeah.
The denial can only feed on the suppression. So part of the old denial system has been to suppress, of course, the most powerful place where the life force erupts, comes, fountains, right, in our beings. Of course it's had to be, I mean, for God's sake, we had chastity belts, 400 years ago. Metal chastity belts.
Well, now our chastity belts are just in our minds.
And literally energetically in your chakras as well.
Yeah.
They literally are chastity belts of energy. Like if you have intestinal problems, female problems, quote unquote, male problems, the hormonal, the prostate, all the prostate problems and Viagra, the whole thing for men. Do you think there's some conflicting issues there with the sex force? Do you think it's a little unbalanced or unconscious?
Endometriosis, uterine fibroids, cervical and ovarian cancer,
etc., etc., etc. I want to cut my tits off now before they get cancerous. I mean, it's absolutely gone nuts, right?
Absolutely. Tobias, really good point, but I hear the music, so hang on. We will be right back. Stay tuned. Soul Journeys Radio.
Time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifilan brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifilan. There's nothing else like Modifilan. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifilan banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You're listening to AmericanFreedomRadio.com, the network who perseveres in delivering intelligent debate, constructive dialogue with true independence. The freedom to broadcast the truth is not free at all. So what is American Freedom Radio worth to you? The empowering information with fun, honest and pure integrity behind it provides an example to follow, friendships to flourish, with the moral altruism that pulls no punches. The hosts sacrifice and show remarkable discipline in their duty to deliver quality radio and service to the community with strength, wisdom and loyalty. The founders of AFR wish to thank you personally for sharing your views and insights to make the best radio and alternative media. Now it's time for you to give something back and play a vital role in the future of America. Be as generous with us as we've been with you. Click on the donate banner at AmericanFreedomRadio.com or volunteer by emailing AmericanFreedomRadio@ymail.com. Vaccine, psychotropic drugs and artillery batteries not included.
All right, welcome back, and thanks for joining us here tonight with Tobias Lars here on Soul Journeys Radio, and we are discussing, some of the issues that, society has kind of programmed us into sexual suppression, trauma, etc. Very well said, Tobias, pointing out some of the problems and the fear. You left off talking about fear, people chopping off their boobs as a precursor of, disease may be happening in the future. And yeah, I'm glad you brought up some of the issues that, female issues, as you referred to them, or prostate and things like that. They are a clear clear reflection and manifestation of this oppressed stuff we've got to heal within ourselves. If we want. Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean, that logic of let's cut our breasts off before they get cancerous is might as well kill yourself before you die.
Cut your prostate out, cut your dick off, cut your pussy off, cut it all off, cut your arms off. You might actually cut yourself one day. And you know what? You might as well chop your legs off too, because you might fall and hurt your knee one day. And you might even have a headache, so you might as well just cut your head off too.
No, the same logic is you might as well kill yourself now because you are going to die one day for sure.
Yeah, right now. Do it.
But, so that's the level of paranoia, weird fear thing we're going, even though it'll say save the tatas. I guess that means cutting them off? Is that what that means?
Yeah, preserve them. Put them in some saline solution and hang them up on your fireplace mantle.
Formaldehyde them? Yeah, that's nice. But no, so it is insane where we're at. And the men's prostate problems and the obvious Viagra and these things sell like crazy, I guess. And I've talked to nurses. They go, oh, yeah, every week we get guys coming in that can't get their erections to go down. And it's not a laughing matter for them. I mean, it's really painful and dangerous at a certain point. So we've kind of gone off the deep end here. So we know the problem is sexuality has been so damaged. I was going to say about the chastity belts, this life force was so strong back always, of course, Our dogs our little dog, baby, just went through her first heat, and watching Daddy, because he's got no shame about that, just feeling the energy of it. It's like he doesn't want to eat. They're not into food when this is happening, The life force is obviously the strongest force in the universe. It's what creates, and like we said last week, has he or she taken celibacy vows? I don't think so.
I asked someone that this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Has God taken celibacy vows? Last time I looked around, there's a giant expanding universe with trillions of galaxies, apparently, or billions of galaxies. So that's quite a large creative orgasm, I would say, much bigger than I've ever experienced. Mm-hmm. So God is not celibate. God created sex. God loves sex. Source loves, and so the question is, how do we get healthy with it and allow it to have its rightful place, enjoyable place? How do we start clearing ourselves? And the life force was so strong back in those times when it was so repressed, all these fetishes would develop. Now there's people that are still acting out chastity belts. You go on eBay, look up chastity belts, there's a bunch of them for sale, I don't know, for several $1,000s, right? Authentic old ones, and playing out that game. There's nothing wrong with playing those games, right? But also most of that is a wanting to revisit the trauma, wanting to revisit it to heal it. Because to heal things, you need to go back and face them. The vast majority of them. Occasionally there's grace, but if there was grace all the time, the universe, the source of the universe would just go, ollie oxen free, you're all done, I wiped out all your karma, it's all over. That's not how it's going to happen. There is grace, and sometimes things are just taken from us and wiped out and cleared. But for the vast majority of it, the 80% or whatever, I'm sort of estimating there, we have to heal it, face it, feel it, free it. We have to heal it, get real and heal it. And so that's where we're at with sex. So sex is obviously so powerful that we need to go back into these traumas and heal them. Yeah. And whether that's rape or shame or invasion of energy, you can invade people sexually.
Yeah.
Especially anally. There are many women, many powerful women on this planet that you can really do anything to them vaginally and it won't hurt them. Okay? Because they're very powerful. They're sort of all-embracing mother goddesses. But anally, you can implant stuff energetic. We're going to get very direct with stuff here tonight. You can implant energies anally up the spinal column, into the spine.
Yeah. And that's why it's used in ritual abuse and, creating super soldiers, spies, etc., multiple personalities. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and in rituals and so forth. Now, it can also be amazingly healing. The poison is the cure. The poison is the cure, right? Look at acupuncture. You're sticking needles and irritating your nerves. That's helping to activate the nerves to wake up. But it's really very rudimentary and crude to stick metal objects into your nerves.
Yeah.
But it is the cure.
Yeah.
So it has to do with the intention. You have to go back and if you buried the toxic stuff in the backyard, you need to dig it up and remove it. If you buried the toxic energies in your spinal column in certain ways, you need to get back in there and transmute, alchemize, heal, literally exercise at times and remove it. So sexual abuse or sexual overpowering other spirits or talking them into doing things they're not really ready for, you can traumatize, obviously, people sexually. This has to do with it shuts down the sex force. It basically clenches shut, okay? Literally clenches shut. You become you can't enjoy sex, There's terror, trauma around it. Or you can do flipping personality stuff, like the woman who was running the Christian charity somewhere in the Midwest, 3 days a week she would be running this. She was just the pearl of her church and running everything. And literally on the weekends she would go and be a hooker in some other state, the next state over, right? That level of schizophrenia, it's literally like multiple personality. You've been overtaken, possessed by these energies.
Yeah.
That is an attempt by the soul to balance it, but when it is compartmentalized and you've literally fragmented people, that's why when people drink, that stuff can come out, and then they'd black out and don't remember things. Mm-hmm. And so you can feel this with each other as you start awakening. You can feel, wow, that energy is really not healthy. There's a lot of anger or trauma or pain or rage in that energy while you're actually doing it. Men can feel it in the woman, and the woman can feel it in the man. If you can feel these energies, because we've basically gone unconscious with sex. We're not conscious while most people are doing sex. They're not that conscious.
No, definitely not.
It's just sort of, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to, I brought up Bliss earlier, and I've watched it a few times, but watched again last night and wrote down some of the quotes, from Dr. Balthazar, because I just thought he was amazing. But, as you said, the poison is the cure. One of the things he said is that conscious sex that achieves bliss is the greatest healer there is. And of course the character is like, what? That means you gotta fuck my wife? He says conscious sex. Right. Physically and emotionally integrated is one way to heal a human being.
Right on. And
conscious sex. How many people are having conscious sex? It's, it's this programmed, boring, mundane, following the script. The men don't even know if the women are orgasming or, doesn't even know how she feels, and vice versa. It's just something you do in a dark room under the covers, and then, go take a shower, pretend it didn't happen, and move on with your life.
Yeah. So the first step is to say, okay, I want to heal myself. I want it to become conscious. And now, there's all kinds of things your mind will tell you about. It's going to be boring. I'm going to have to attend some horrible tantra workshop and gaze into my lover's eyes, No, that is not that way. Let me tell you, God has the best orgasms, the most powerful sex going. Because when you're conscious, you're going to enjoy the lust even more. If you're present and conscious, whether you're eating food, if you're not present while you're eating food, you can't enjoy it. If you're not present and conscious while you're fucking, you can't enjoy it either. Mm-mm. And so it actually gets better and better and better and better. Because
I think it's funny when people say, like, oh, any sex is good sex. Is that really true, or is that just all you know?
Right. Well, that's obviously a joke, but...
No, I know people that actually mean that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's lots of healing to do here. And the first step is say, okay, I do want to heal this. And people that will appear very open and relaxed sexually, let's say they're comfortable with different partners and this and that, sometimes they're the most suppressed.
Yes. Absolutely.
So it's not about being promiscuous or being because that can be an avoidance of intimacy. I mean, the psychology has realized that. Oh, you have multiple partners because you're commitment phobic.
Yeah, well, we had somebody on our show just a couple weeks ago, Tobias, that is involved with Tantra and things like that, and he said that he was a polyamorous until recently, and he admitted right here on the air that that was one way of him avoiding, getting intimate and truly being all in with someone.
Exactly. So all of it can be misused. It can look really good. The right teaching, this is the half-truth thing that happens. The words are right and blah, blah, blah. But you have to learn to feel it, because the spontaneous wild soul, that's what makes it fun, right? That's why when you're first in relationships, you're doing it in the, wherever you are, because it's fun and it's just, when it wants to happen is the best time to do it. Yeah. And that can be 5 minutes of intense quickies, or, because it can be, okay, God, formula kills it, generally. Mm-hmm. But there's also time to go, okay, hold off. This is not about orgasm-oriented. We're not going for orgasm. We're going for just be present. Nice. Just be conscious. And so for someone, a very powerful thing will be not to be orgasm-directed, but rather, people may have heard this before, but for a woman just to get undressed in front of a man, and the man just truly look upon her in the daylight, full on, just look.
Yeah.
And describe and talk to her. This can bring women to tears, to huge releases, to just look at you and describe it. And then just start with the body, all the shame and the issues of the body, And the same thing for the man. Now, if the man's ready for it, then let him be vulnerable and just be naked. And let the woman describe what she sees, how the body is. I see this, I love, it is incredibly, you want to become truly naked, it's emotional nakedness, I don't have it in front of me, so I couldn't recite it, but I wrote a thing about Jesus appearing in the halls of erotic power in hell. Jesus shows up in the massive orgy, Satan's orgy, and everybody stops, everybody drops their cocks, Who is he? He's so frail, gentle, soft, open. He makes us truly naked because he's looking at your soul. You can do Roman orgies, till the cows come home. You're not being intimate with people. And there's a right time to expand it into polyamory. But again, if it's an avoidance, it's not going to work. Sexual diseases. I'm going to just tell it all here tonight. Sexual diseases are a reflection of imbalance, energetic imbalance. Period.
Absolutely.
Period.
Unconscious sex. Yes.
All of it. Gonorrhea, herpes, all that stuff. It's just unconscious sex. If you're conscious and present, none of that occurs.
Yeah.
And you also will know, once you're conscious, your intuition says, no, I'm not to do that with you, It is true to when people say, with someone you have sex with all their partners as well. That is true if you have energetic entanglement going on. But you can also be more powerful. Here I'm going to say something out of the box, okay? There are masters, sexual tantric masters, who would literally clear the energies. What would be the most powerful exorcism? Waving crucifixes or a little sage and smoke? Or actually having an orgasm go up the spine of the other person?
That's right, Tobias. It is that time, though, so hang on, everyone. We will be right back. Stay tuned. SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Yo, what's up? Check this out. The voice of the revolution. American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back, and thanks for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com, and we're trying to chip away at the layers of programming here, talking about sexual awakening tonight with Tobias Lars. And Tobias, can you, I was trying to tell you before we came back from the break about the movie Bliss that I shared with a lot of people. And, you know, they tackled some pretty harsh subjects and dark and things that, you know, we want to pretend doesn't exist. Just move on with your day. Oh, I don't have this. I'm fine. And, you know, of course, just from the get-go where she went to see a sexual healer, and men and women are alike. Like, they didn't even get through watching the whole movie before they had to comment. And they're like, oh, my God, that's terrible. She's cheating on her husband. How could she do that? Which is just one of the issues. So let's talk about what a sexually awake or aware, conscious human would look like.
Well, it's going to sound crazy to our current. It's like telling a fish what it's like to fly, you know. Mm-hmm. Or it's like trying to tell a fish you're stuck in a water of ocean and there's a whole nother world over there. So, but Krishna, really the Christ spirit, Krishna, Christ, the same spirit, the over soul of the humanity, he was not only an earthly king, he had 3,000 concubines, gopis, playmates, out there in the woods, in the forests, and everyone seemingly accepted this. There's been women that have been massive goddesses. This has been suppressed during the patriarchy, of course. But there's many of you women, you know, men are, they come and go, right? They come and then they go.
We have a gas station called that out here.
Come and go.
Come and go, yeah.
Right?
That's great.
And I want to tell the women like that having to put up with the crazy, fearful penis, build rocket ships and atom bombs because of their traumatized sex lives, it's coming to an end. It's not going to be over instantly. It's going to be another couple hundred years here of reincarnations and stuff. But this cycle of that level of suppression is over. And so, yeah, the whole cheating thing, like I said, we're going to have to get real with. And the way that is happening, I just had 2 clients this week that were going through this, where they had been very judgmental. They happen to be both women, but it works for them. That one of them was, my husband, he cheated early on, and I kind of still hold that against him. So the only way the universe could get her to let go of that resentment was for her to go cheat. And so that she had to go, okay, I have to forgive myself. Often the universe does it this way. If we are too righteous, then it happens to us. If we're too self-righteous about it, I would never do that. Well, guess what you'll find yourself doing?
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
That's how it works, because then you have to go, well, I walked a mile in those shoes. I can't call you totally bad, you know. Some people do. They're so screwed up, they go, oh, I was horrible. I beat myself and got rid of that sin, and, you know, now I'm going to teach everyone else not to do it. So, no, sexual therapists are still the whole Dakini thing, the sacred priestesses, and sacred, in this case, in that movie. I really related to him, by the way. I loved it. I'm like, shit, I like that.
I swear, are you Dr. Balthazar?
I want to do that. But we have to be tender with it. See, it's the innocence that's going to save us, you know, because just opening that chakra, even opening the root and the sexual chakra, and all the way up to feelings and the body and the heart, in a way, it's still not going to totally heal it. It's like peeling the onion, you know, it really is. Peel me like a grape, honey. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So you're going to have to get used to it, folks. The universe is bigger than your silly little social mores. It just is. There's a time, there were traditions where where women would serve in the temple, where they would be sacred dakinis, sacred priestesses that would involve sex with men, but it was about energy first. And it would be about activating, teaching, making the young men comfortable with this energy that was awakening in them. And we have to start getting used to this again. It's happening anyway. If you're going to live a rigid world where this is absolutely not allowed, I'll bring up Robert Frost in Mending Wall. Something there is that does not love a wall. Yeah. It's the life force. By the way, the most famous line from that poem is, good fences make good neighbors. and everyone forgets that what is actually happening in that poem, he meets with his neighbor and they walk the old New England walls where they were made out of rocks that they had picked out of the fields, and those rocks would mysteriously fall down every year. And he's walking with his neighbor, who he says looks like a Neanderthal with one stone in each hand. And he says, maybe it's the imp in me that says, something there is that does not love a wall. Why do we need walls to begin with? And my neighbor simply responds, good fences make good neighbors. Right? That's the old paradigm. The life force doesn't like rules. The life force likes exploration. It likes spontaneous movement of new creations. Often the woman is closer to that, so, quote, she is apt to move with the love more even than a man at times.
Yeah.
She's more apt to go with the affair at times, because she's like, I'm not getting nurtured with I don't even know what I want. I know I want more. That's the state for many, many, many people at this point.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a start, isn't it? Because that's awesome. Looking beyond the boxes that we've, settled into.
Right. Sex therapists, again, because this is such a new area, most of it is bordering still. If you look up dakinis and stuff, people are just going to say, oh, they're just prostitutes, There's still a heavy, heavy judgment. I mean, we're barely accepting massage therapy as, it's good, but obviously it's got stigma from old times with it, Do I get a happy ending with that? It's, right?
I'm all swollen and purplish, baby.
Yeah. Exactly. And so the man involvement is going to be to expand the orgasm out of just the genitals. I was talking to someone today about this very thing, a guy. He's totally aware of it, and he's actually backing off being very sexual with his girlfriend right now, and a very advanced soul, actually. He's going to be a teacher in his own right of this stuff. But it came up to we needed to talk about, while you're actually orgasming, while you're coming, take some deep breaths and literally feel like you're breathing that life force up towards your heart, like you're pulling it up on the in-breath.
Genital sex is just boring. That's not all there is.
Well, it's really fun when that's what you're doing. I mean, just all and more, both and more. It's all good. And sometimes, but when you're actually just shooting the energy out, this is when you can, those old schools can be right about you're depleting your life force. You know, a lot of the monks and the old teachings where you must save your chi and you're not allowed to orgasm, to the point where the monks would literally have, you know, lots of dakinis, women, goddesses that would work with them, but their job was not to orgasm. The whole Chinese thing of retaining the chi. And so there can be truth to that too, but at a certain level, there's no shortage of energy. The sun has no problem. The sun is in a permanent orgasm 24/7 for 5 billion years. The sun, the solar sun that feeds this whole planet, and you, by the way, we are children of the sun, is in a permanent orgasm 24/7 for 5 billion years. And the etheric sun, the astral sun, is forever and ever. Amen. So there's a shortage of energy? Absolutely not. That's BS. But if you are doing it in a draining way, if you've shut off your eternal supply coming in to your spinal column, you can drain yourself. Of course, you can do certain sexual things that drain your energy, and people can steal energy from each other that way. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you can put an implant in some innocent, boy or girl and steal soul energy from them for the next, as long as they have that implant put in them. Absolutely. Shamans deal with this all the time.
Yeah.
And heal the traumas around it. So as this, of course, it's nice to be able to be honest about it, but if you're not able to be honest about it, the person I was talking to today, I said, well, what if you had told your husband back then that you had an affair? What would have happened? She said, he would have left me. I said, okay. So you weren't able to tell him because he could not receive it. He couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
So this lying thing, sometimes you can't tell people because they can't handle the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. It is that time again. So hang on there, Tobias. And everyone, we will be back.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Welcome back. Top of the second hour here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Our special guest tonight, Tobias Lars, the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, which you can find at his website, soulcounseling.com. He is a personal awakening coach and does teleseminars on Sundays. If you cannot see him in person, you can go to courseofawakening.com to find out more about that. And we're talking about sexual awakening tonight, healing from shame, fears, guilt, abuse, trauma, suppression, etc. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. 339-8525, and to join us in the text chat, that's over at souljourneysradio.com. I'm not really able to keep up with everything going on in the chat tonight, as you could imagine, but if you do have any questions, then please put them in all caps, so hopefully they stand out and I can get them to Tobias. But Tobias, you know, some of the comments and such, people are talking about their beliefs of sexuality and what they've been programmed with and such. And, you know, you and I were talking during the break, and, you know, my whole life I thought sex was bad, it was evil, it was satanic, it would make me a whore, it would make me, I was totally programmed with that in my life, as, you know, many others are as well. But then, you know, there's you where you're like, man, I was 12 and I wanted to do everyone. And which is awesome. I have no idea what it would be like to be that free sexually, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But clearly we have a lot going on here and lots of things to heal, but, you know, even people aren't even aware of it. And, you know, that's okay, because they're not listening to our show. They're getting mad and saying, why are you talking about this? We have better things to do. And I understand that, too. I mean, I remember when I was like 20 or 21 or something, and talking with my mom, and she's like, well, Christie, you know, one of these days you'll meet someone and fall in love and have sex. And I'm like, ew, gross. I don't want to be like that. I mean, you're going to have to do that if you want to have babies. And it's like, well, why can't we just, you know, why can't there just be some button? You just touch a button and the baby incubates, and it's like, ew, because that's gross and nasty, and I don't want to do that. And granted, you know, maybe my programming came from not only, you know, church and political and parental issues and such, maybe a little, you know, sexual trauma, abuse, and things like that as well. So how can we, I mean, first of all, I guess if anyone wants to change, we have to discover and realize that we may have an issue and, you know, make that conscious choice. But let's say we have made that conscious choice. What do we do next?
Well, it's as unique as us, you know. What's one way, as you literally are doing it, or like for a woman, just a man, like I said earlier, just a man to look at her body and tell her what he sees, just to be naked in front of each other and just be conscious, you know, be conscious and present, feel the embarrassment, I feel weird, you know, feel the potential, feeling just strange, being very, very close and intimate and just looking at each other, for example. That could be a great exercise.
And that's if you have a partner, okay?
Yeah, if you have a partner. For men, the reason, like, premature ejaculation, coming too soon and stuff, happens is because they're not conscious of their bodies. Mm-hmm. And so it becomes this uncontrolled thing, you know, it's like it's being done to them or something. So learning to feel the inner energies of your own body, learning to couple the orgasm with breathing, like, you know, be conscious. People hold their breath a lot. People hold their breath when they're trying to force the orgasm.
Hold your breath, close your eyes. Look away. Mm-hmm.
That is like clamping down, sphincter tightening, you know, repression.
Yeah.
You're forcing it. You're shoving it downward instead of allowing it to spread through your body. So keep your breathing. These are just practical suggestions. Keep your breathing open. Don't hold your breath. Girls, don't hold your breath. And if you're partnering, you know, tell you, and guys, hey, you're starting to come, don't hold your breath. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Take a deep breath. You know, let that move. Relax, relax, instead of push, 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 fight, fight, fight.
Yeah. Okay, let's say you don't have a partner. Do we have to go to like a sex therapist, or is this something that we can start working on ourselves? Getting back to Bliss, some of the quotes that, in regards to what you just brought up, your body. He says, how can you make love to someone else if you can't make love to yourself? Anyone that doesn't totally accept their body can never experience ecstasy and can never enable another to experience it.
Watch out for the nevers, because they can make you feel even more guilty.
Yeah,
but
it's a movie.
Unless you can, in fact, the one I just told you about keeping your breathing open, you should probably do that first while you masturbate.
Okay.
Yeah, by yourself. And then do it when and if you have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping the breathing open is a huge one. Letting it spread across the body instead of just genitally. And some people have no clue what that means. I don't know. I just have done it this way. That's it. That's all I know. So one thing that's going to happen when you do this is you're going to all of a sudden find there's whole new ways of having sex.
Yes.
There's whole new energy. It's like an upgrade in energy. You're going to go, wow, I didn't know my hips could move that way for some guy.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the straight in and out, now we're being very direct here.
Yeah.
Instead of the straight in and out, do a little circling around, do a little mambo, do a little dancing, do a little,
Oh, but I don't dance.
Look why women are attracted to dancers, and that's why it's
exactly.
Yeah. So I remember doing one when we first started A Course of Awakening in person up here in Sedona. I remember one night I was just deciding, let's have some play, and I could feel the Elvisness.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sort of got up and did some, and I could feel because I was in the energy. You can't fake it. I was in the energy, and I just moved my energy that way, and I could watch the women go, ooh, we can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So learning to actually let your hips move in different ways, there's whole new levels. When Joy and I first got together, it was for both of us an upgrade. It was like I made a commitment to, I'm going to just be honest with my lust. Even if she leaves me, who cares? If it's too weird for her, so what?
Mm-hmm.
So I got really honest with it. It was like, dirty talk and this, that, and the other. It's just stuff I wanted to do. And we're all different. And being honest with that, for example, being honest with like speaking it. People who don't speak it, one of the saddest things I heard one time was about a brothel in Mexico, and the woman was describing there was all these stalls, literally just stalls like made, and there's this curtains in front of them, and the men would just come in line, pay their money, and they would go in there, and there's like 30 stalls. And the woman said, what's the most, and someone asked, what's the most striking thing about that experience? Because she was allowed to kind of be part, watch or, from afar by the person's running it. You know what she said? She said, the weirdest thing for me was the quiet. No one was making any sounds.
Oh, my God. I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
You're afraid to.
Yeah, the men were... And if you watch it, I'm calling some men on it here a little bit.
I know men personally. Not men that I've slept with, but we'll just say, nope, I don't say a word. Not one squeak, not one anything. It's like, really? That's good sex to you? Really?
You're really suppressed if you can't let your voice move, men. You're very suppressed.
Yes.
And why are you making the woman do all that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They love it when the women do, right? Oh, talk to me dirty, baby, blah, blah, blah. And they can't say a thing.
Right. And here's why. Now, here's spiritual physics why. Because when you use your throat chakra by speaking, it has to go through the heart. See? From the sex to get to the throat, it has to go through the heart, right?
Yeah, very good point. Very good.
Going up the spinal column. So if you're going to start speaking while you're having sex, you're going to start feeling stuff move through your heart. Mm-hmm. And that's going to completely change things. So speaking is very powerful. Before you get started, talking dirty to each other is a huge awakening for many people.
Yeah.
Before you take your clothes off. Now, the impulse of life force is going to want to do things. It knows how to liberate you. The water knows how to where to flow. The life force knows where to flow. And you're going to go, I can't say that. I can't do that. But that's the very time you should do it. Or, you know, it would be helpful to move energy if you did it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just try it. And be willing to completely fail. You know, be laughing. You know, be like, oh my God, that was ridiculous. You know, I remember when I was going through this in my personal life about 20 years ago. Another upgrade. There's layers of the onion here where we get upgrades into whole new levels of it. I said to the universe, okay, I'm ready to play a little bit in a new way. And so I would literally, you know, go meet women like through the personals. I'd never done that. I totally judged that. So God says, well, do that then, because I'll help you, you know, not judge that as well. It'll be really good for you. See, it's about not judgment, folks. It's about not judgment. That which ye have judged, ye must then experience. That's the law number 11.
Yeah, definitely.
So I remember I would be very honest, you know, like I would talk to women, I go, listen, if you're looking for financially secure and emotionally stable, I'm not the guy. If you're looking for some full-on freaking truth while fucking, I'm the guy. I would,
pure raw wild fun in the sack.
Right. Now I would actually say that because it was like wrong, right, to say that. And I had fun with it. I don't think I ever ran an ad like that, but it would have been like I wanted to run an ad that says, emotionally prone to fits of anger. I have anger management problems. I'm completely devastated. Just went through bankruptcy. Just got divorced, and I am going through a massive spiritual awakening. Just to run off the women. I remember one woman, I could just hear the quiet on the other end of the phone. I want an emotionally and financially stable man. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's what you think you want, and then you're bored within 6 months.
Yeah.
Truth.
Okay.
But I want an emotionally... Yeah. Now, I understand why the fear in the woman and the goddess is like that. Because love kills. Thank you, Sex Pistols.
Frick, yeah.
Love kills. It does. Because when you loosen these energies, they are no respecter of your little programming. Mm-hmm. So I remember one woman and I, she's great. She could have been married. Later I realized, holy shit, she's probably married. Mm-hmm. But beautiful black goddess woman, sweetheart. And we would, after we would have sex, and would experiment and this and that. And at the time, I was reawakening to things. We would laugh. We would just go into these fits of total laughter. It was just beautiful. It was like she was get to play hooky from her normal life, right? Whatever. She was some huge bank manager for a certain bank that's now not there anymore, but several states bank, and so she was enjoying her fantasy stuff, and I'm like, going through my stuff, and we were just like two souls meeting outside the boundaries. It was wonderful, and. So be open to that. You can say to the universe, bring me a partner, but if you have this little myopic shut down, this is what they should look like. They should be emotionally stable and shut up. And if the man is like, she should look like this, she should have this look, I want this and I want that, then shut up, you too. You need to expand your boundaries, get out of your box.
Yeah. And get in my box. No.
That's right. Into a different kind of box. Try a new box. Try a new box. That's what happened to me.
Yeah, try my box.
Because my certain attractions was, my first wife, God bless Marilyn, looked like Anne Margaret, very pretty. Elvis, actually, they had a thing. They dated, literally. I was like, I'm attracted to this, and this is the woman, that if I lived a normal life, I would get married to this type of woman, sort of like preppy blonde women, okay? But my soul was like, hell no, we're not doing that, because you're going to die of boredom and stalemate after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so, is it scary? Yes, it is. Another client I had a few years ago, gay guy, and a psychic medium, really sweetheart. And his partner had died, and he was a psychic medium. He was moving up to this place in northern New York called Lilydale. Is famous for 100 years of them doing spiritualist mediums and this and that and the other. And he said, well, I don't know about a relationship. Am I ready for a relationship, And I said, here's what Spirit's saying. Are you ready for something completely out of the box of what you're used to?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is time to get out of that box, and we're going to talk about some of the ways we can do that after this short break. Stay tuned. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifilan brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifilan. There's nothing else like Modifilan. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifilan banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American
It's practically narcotics.
freedom.
Oh, yes, I like very much.
Radio.
You're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back. And yeah, baby, won't you tell me again? We are talking about awakening our sexuality, sexual awakening, awareness, etc., healing, sexual trauma and suppression. And those are the big questions that keep coming up in the chat. Well, how do I get there? How do I have this? Why do I always only want the unavailable ones? And oh man!
So let's pick up on what we left off on there. You have to expand your horizons. Like this client I was working with, so he was gay and had a long-term committed relationship, and then his partner had died, and it was a few years later, and he was ready. And I said, and what came in from Spirit was maybe somebody much younger than you, or maybe a woman of your own age. So Spirit, because once it's predictable, it becomes stale. You understand? Sex, it's the energy, it's the newness and spontaneity and new vistas, new horizons. So if you trust the universe, see, here's the question. No, I want it my way. I want it my way, and I want it to be super fun and fun. That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. You can't tell the universe what to do. You can't tell, your ego personality cannot tell your soul how to do it, because your soul is much more fundamental and more powerful than your temporary ego identity called your current life.
Yes.
So if you want to upgrade the fun and upgrade the awakening, you have to be willing to risk your personality. God is no respecter of persons. What the hell does that mean? Well, that's what that means. She doesn't respect your particular programming. So you want to be a real stand-up guy? Nah. You want to be a real goddess? Be willing to let the universe suggest to you and work in mysterious ways. A partner you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't look right. Fail, gong. They're not the right age. Fail, gonged. You're out of here.
Yeah.
They don't make enough money. Boom, big fail. Big fail.
Yeah.
No. And the
Go
thing
ahead,
is,
say it.
No, whatever you come up with, it's going to be a no. But if you're willing to follow what it says, you're going to have massive amounts of energy. The proof is going to be in the pudding. Wow, I didn't expect that to come from there, but it does. So be willing to come outside your box. Get outside your boxes and go, okay, I trust you, universe. Otherwise, you're not trusting God. This is why, by the way, God has to get people to separate from partners that they're stale with by having affairs.
Yeah.
Because she knows she can reach you through your genitals. It's kind of like the ring in the nose of a bull. That's pretty much how most people's sex is. I'll follow you anywhere, right? because that's how what God has to do. God can't come and explain. It's time for you. You've worked out the karma with this person. It's time for you to actually, move on. You're both stuck in a routine. You're not growing. He doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. She goes, oh, I met this guy at the grocery store, and I don't know why, but I'm having sex with him this afternoon.
Tobias, if it wasn't for our egotistical need for ownership, would there be such a thing as cheating?
No. There is no such thing as cheating. Does God cheat on people?
So, how healthy are we if we feel that we have to own our partner?
We are stuck inside the ego. Now, that's a big leap for people. Like the client I worked with yesterday, you can't. If you tell too much truth, it gets rejected. You understand?
Yes.
In the 1500s, Galileo isn't even allowed to have a telescope that shows that, the sun doesn't actually revolve around us. Could you imagine going, hey, God loves hard-ons back then? You'd be burnt at the stake instantly. So there's a gradual revealing of the truth. The truth is God is the most polyamorous thing ever. Is God cheating with you because he or she is loving someone else? Get real. The whole thing of ownership is bull. Now, there's natural monogamy for periods of time. But anytime you have sign this contract and promise you won't do it, you are inviting lawyers by doing that.
Yeah.
You're literally...
Lawyers and hitmen.
Yeah, depending on exactly. Yeah, I was in Mexico this year. We did ayahuasca down there with some beautiful friends, and I remember asking, well, what if these women, what if I talked to her, and they said, no, you'd be killed. If there was anything, sexual at all or even looking, there's murder here. There's no discussion. And so, yeah, the vast majority of the world is still stuck inside Murder Incorporated when it comes to love. Let's be honest.
You can't talk to her. She's pretty, or whatever.
And then there are millions of us now that are ready to go, okay, this old model, whether it's whatever model, but this model is just not working. So whether it's the hippies early on, the real hippies in communes trying to do it, but the thing is here, if you are pretending you're more advanced than you are, I'm totally okay with it, and you're suppressing the jealousy or the fear or the rejection, let's be real. Oh, you like him better because his dick is bigger. Okay? I'm just picking a fear for men, Mm-hmm. And if you can surface that in front of the group and be honest about it, you can get liberated from it. But if you don't say it, it's going to gnaw at you. It's going to eat you. It's a virus. You got to confess your sins one unto the other, or at least to the universe.
Yeah.
And so what this true intimacy is, it's like innocent sex. Now, the fact that people think that's an oxymoron, that shows how sick our society is. Innocent lust, innocent fucking. Okay? Because the heart is innocent. Now, so that's where we're all headed back. We're all headed back to that. So you have to surrender to the universe and say, okay, don't worry. There's 1,000 paths for you to find reawaken your sexuality. You do not have to be alone with it, but you can't depend on a partner. You can't put your power in the partner. While you're having sex, you can imagine making love to the universe. There's another one. You can go, okay, transpersonal sex, just like there's transpersonal psychology, in the old meaning beyond personality. It's not about you or them. Like when you're having sex with someone, it's not about you, my partner. It's not about you. I'm having sex with the maleness or the femaleness of the universe. Your name and whatever, I don't care about you. I care about the big God that is using you to have sex with me. Transpersonal sex. Ooh, that's interesting. Now, this used to be done in the rites of spring. You know, on the Isles, you could read the Mists of Avalon, they talk about it a little bit, but where the men would be chosen by the big god as a stag, you know, and he would actually dress as the stag with the horns, right? Horny, you get this, right? And so you wouldn't know who it was, and the goddess would be chosen as a woman, and they would have sex together for the whole tribe, for the whole community, but they would be inhabited, literally, by the larger transpersonal energy. It's bigger than you, honey. It's not about you. It's about the stars having sex with the space. That's a good one, for example. Can you let go of taking it personally? Ooh, that's a big one. But that's where it heads. That's why Jesus, Buddhas, Krishnas, these guys, and if you know, they have to play public roles depending on what we're ready for publicly. But I had one of the teachers of mine tell me one time, Tobias, because I had a little bit of an opening in my kundalini. I could feel during a sex one time, I could feel this energy rising up through my spinal column, this teacher spoke to me etherically. He appeared from another dimension and said, Tobias, you have opened that channel a little bit. You have an opening between your sex and your heart, a little bit. But he said, sex with planets. And he's not saying that egotistically. He's just pointing out there's much bigger levels of doing this. We're meant to become gods. How do gods have sex? Look at the Greek gods. Zeus had sex with everything and everyone, including a swan. Right? So you got to get over this little ownership thing if you really want to go there.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to. And I know that's shocking to an immoral society. I'm calling them immoral or stuck in morals, stuck in the concepts of moral and immoral. Nature knows what she is doing, right? Yeah. And actually, the more natural you are, the less fanatically or possessed you are to be overly promiscuous.
Yes, I agree. Definitely.
Because you are self-satisfying. You're enjoying yourself. If you're not enjoying yourself, you're going to run around and try to distract yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was going to say also, for some reason, came up to say, so with a woman, if you're helping a woman heal, like in the movie, they didn't show any of it. They showed some, but, what can you show? Or get an X rating immediately.
Yeah.
If you show, right?
Yeah.
So, but literally, without doing... if the woman is ready, you go inside her with your fingers, right? Be inside her and move around all the way around, and you can hold her neck, you can hold your hand behind her heart, put your hand on her uterus, on her belly, just whatever feels loving intuitively, and talk to each other. How does that feel? Move around, find sensitive spots inside the woman, places where she's holding stuck emotional energy. Just like your massage therapist will find knots in your back. There are
inside and outside, right? Sex isn't just about, that one little spot, the vagina, or the cervix, and the clitoris. No,
exactly. But all those need to be included. And what I'm talking about, put your hands all up in there and move your fingers around to touch the different spots and talk, and let the woman tell you, okay, that's sensitive. And then just hold that spot. Put your hand on her heart. Sometimes kissing during that is an amazing. If you can kiss and open your throat chakras while one is receiving and the other is giving, This is opening the whole Kundalini column, the whole spinal column also, you know. I mean, the woman's breasts are about opening her heart. You give love to your children through that, but you also receive love that way. I mean, look, your nipples are right on the side of your heart. And for men too, just not quite as active. And so learning to feel the heart opening while you is a key thing. So focusing literally on breathing the energy up and down your spinal column. Again, this would be we're not trying to achieve orgasm. We're not goal-oriented here. You don't need to get the ball in the goal, you understand? It's about the game. It's about being present for the whole thing. Kissing while you're sexually masturbating your partner is unbelievable. And talking and letting yourself just feel the sensations. You know, can I love? Or I say, no. The whole schizoidness like hookers have. Oh, you can fuck me, but you can't kiss me on the mouth. Yeah. That's an example of deep schizoidness, meaning it's the heart, that love is, because once you kiss on the mouth, again, you're opening the energy channel to go through the heart. You understand? And the sacred prostitutes could do that, but the current day, the way it is for most prostitutes, it's very karmic, and you know, they don't want to get emotionally involved, obviously. So, yeah, it's a huge Pandora's box, literally. That's why it's called that. It's doable, and it's going to happen. There's no way you can stop the tide. This sexual healing is happening. Now, I experimented earlier in life with multiple partners, and when I was married, I tried to have one of my best friends, you know, let's have sex with my wife, and I'll watch, or I'll participate, and let's share. And they literally blacked it out. They suppressed it, and they said, no, it never happened. So we're dealing with deep levels of denial here.
Yes.
Deep levels of denial. So proceed with caution and gentleness. For men, if you can have your woman put her fingers up your butt, or, and touch you all around in there, and see your response. And there's very sensitive tissues in there that hold sexual trauma, and you'll start releasing things. You may get cold. You may feel that's weird. You're going to have all kinds of feelings, you know. But for the man to learn to become receptive, see? The man needs to learn to become receptive also. There are levels of while you're having sex, you forget who's who, and you start saying things that don't make sense. This is really good. Really good is when you start melting and merging. So we're throwing out a bunch of stuff here. I hear the music.
Absolutely. It's that time. We're going to be right back. Hang on, everyone. Soul Journeys Radio.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
News and information you can trust. This is American Freedom Radio. Freedom, American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Last segment here with Tobias Lars on Soul Journey. Yeah, last segment already. Can you believe that?
Wow.
That's crazy. Time sure flies when you're talking about sex.
It's a premature ejaculation show. It goes too fast.
Yeah. Wait, I do remember we did do premature ejaculation shows a while back. Actually, I should find those shows because we are getting a lot of questions that you have addressed in previous shows. So I will go find those. We have done a lot of shows on sex, love, relationships, etc. But tonight, is a little bit different. And I don't know about you, Tobias, if another show about healing, specifically healing the trauma and
Sure.
how we experience it might be in order. Okay,
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so we're last segment here, and sorry we didn't get all of your questions, but he either answered them tonight or in previous shows, and I think we talked about this one as well, but somebody was asking about psychic connections with people we have had sex with in the past. Is there a cord?
There's many permutations, many variations. It can be karmic sex. You're completing something with someone, and you're giving each other energy back. Like, this is your energy that I've held inside my energetic field. I'm giving it back to you. And you may not be conscious of this at all. That can often take the form of short-lived or, relationships are very intense, and then they're over. It's kind of, so you can actually be giving each other, this is your energy, I'll take mine, this is yours. It's like an energy exchange program. That can happen in relationships. You can form brand new bonds with a brand new soul that you're falling in love with. See, we can all fall in love with each other because we're falling in love with God's source. God's source falls in love with itself all over the universe. So you can have karmic connections. You can create cords, vows. I have to say to the feminine has been traumatized. This whole thing about commitment and vows really is a way to a fear of not feeling safe, and this is going to be surfaced for the feminine aspect of us, and in the men and the women. You have to allow for freedom, So this commitment thing, this natural commitment doesn't need forced commitment. Natural commitment is the only real commitment. Forced commitment is fake. Coerced commitment is fake. Making someone do something that they don't really want to is just stupid.
Definitely.
And so natural togetherness is the only thing that's real, Anyway, witnessed by our current cult thing of marriage, sign here, marriage licenses, etc. It doesn't work, talk to my lawyer, that thing.
I think the psychic connection thing, bringing this up is, again, why it's important to be having conscious sex. As you illustrated earlier in the show, the unconscious sex. People can be carrying these things with them for lifetimes, literally, not just showing up as cervical cancer or prostate cancer or whatever. There's definitely an energy that, we can carry with us, if not conscious or healed.
You can be made zombie love slaves. I'm joking, but it's true.
No, very true.
You can literally create just removing people's power and just using them as love slaves or stealing their energy. And, so careful with your commitments. Let your commitments be natural. Let your yeses be yeses and your no's be no's, Get real with that. What do I really want, Are you compromising yourself? The men have compromised. I'll say anything to, get laid. The women have compromised it by, I can feel my intuition, but I really, it's a good deal. He's a nice guy, and he makes a lot of money. He's a good father. So you compromise yourself. Well, anytime Anytime you compromise yourself, you get a compromised situation. It's just spiritual physics, I was... who was telling me this story? They said this woman was sharing the story with Joy. She said her first marriage, she literally escaped out of the second-story window of a house, of the place where they were going to get married, and ran away. She literally just aborted the marriage,
I don't know anyone who's ever done that.
Why do people faint? Because their oaths are starting to suck the soul out of their body right then and there. You know, they know it's terrible. These are really black mass rituals, many marriages, mixed with real heart, mixed with real love. But a lot of it is a mixture of horrible oath making. Anytime we make binding oaths, this is not the universe's way. The universe does not make binding oaths. Binding oaths are based on fear. The vast a commitment and a promise can be made from heart, but binding oaths, not so healthy, because they do carry through space-time. You can do magic stuff that carries through space-time, you know. And these are cords. These are succubus connections. These are literal energetic vacuum tubes coming out of your solar plexus, your heart, your sex chakra. They come out of every chakra. They are inserts of, you committed to me, you made a promise.
You owe me, now I own you.
And then if we have done that to other people, then we get to play out the balancing act. Like I said earlier, someone being really judgmental about people having affairs, the chances are you're going to get to experience that yourself. It just is a natural way that the universe helps create compassion, helps create resolution, balance, harmony, and forgiveness. If you want to avoid living through the grinding, what comes around goes around, the eye for an eye, Jesus recommends very strongly, how about some forgiveness? We do forgiveness before that wheel comes around and grinds you into the dirt. You know, you can also do forgiveness ritual, you know, with, okay, my past partners. They don't have to be there for you physically. You can go, okay, where do I feel that in me? Where am I feeling that connection around the heart, around the sex, around my mind, or the guilt? I want this clear. I want this clear of me. I want to forgive her or him. I love you. God bless you. But we're finished. We're done. There are separation, cutting the cords that need to happen. When you are creating an orgasm, you are tapping into, see, this is prone to us creating more fear about it, but you are opening into deeper levels of yourself. You're tapping into at least the fourth dimensional astral heavens when you are coming. Now, you can't have ejaculation, by the way, without orgasm. Now, that's a very clinical way of you can open up to allowing spirits to be born that really aren't orgasmic or love spirits.
And the other way, you can have an orgasm without ejaculation.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And there's direction and consciousness in there, like we talked about before. You can be conscious of, I'm inviting a soul to be born through me. Now, for the vast majority of humans, they're so out of touch with it, they don't know if they're pregnant or not, you know.
Yeah.
They need to buy a test at the drugstore to figure it out.
Oh, my gosh. And then some. And since we're going to be ending here, I guess we can carry this over next time. But people were asking, is female ejaculation real? Or how do we know it's not pee? Or all of these things. And it's like, that, if you're asking those questions, that is a clear indicator that you're not having conscious sex. Because, yes, they are real.
They are.
You're not experiencing it. There might be something, you know, lacking, maybe.
Watch some videos on that, but let's be honest. The medical community, the gynecological community is still completely schizophrenic about it, whether female ejaculation is real or not. That shows the level of incredible denial and suppression and really just not knowing what actually goes on. If the gynecological community in the world, no, it's just, we don't even want to address that problem. It's just urine.
Yeah.
And
we'll ask any woman, okay? And the sad thing, Tobias, is that most of these women that are experiencing it alone, not with their partners. So what does that say? And as far as the medical, gynecological community, whatever, blah, 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 who supposedly just discovered or invented the G-spot or whatever, I mean, think about it. We're a little bit behind. And again, I'm going to repeat another quote. I think I shared this earlier in the movie Bliss we were talking about tonight. Conscious sex that achieves bliss is the greatest healer there is. Absolutely. And another thing I thought that was really, really powerful, he said, most men fear women's power. A sexually conscious woman is as powerful as any being on the planet. We're entering a new era. It will be the resurgence of the divine feminine spirit. We must honor that spirit in ourselves and in others. And with that, I guess show's over, huh? That was fun.
All women.
Well, was it good for you? Did you orgasm, honey?
I need more.
I need part two. We're going to do part two. I love you all. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, Tobias. Again, his website, soulcounseling.com. Blessings and love to you all. Have an awesome weekend. We'll see you on Monday with Max Egan here on soultalksradio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Just look at us. Everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice. Universities destroy knowledge. Governments destroy freedom. The major media destroys information. And religions destroy spirituality. I think there's more to know here.
What you hear about in this country is our differences. That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us, things that make us different from one another. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They try to divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the money. Fairly simple thing happens to work. If you know anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything they can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank.
You're listening to the future of talk. American Freedom Radio. This is American Freedom Radio.